Have you ever wondered what it would be like to just pack your bags and leave? What about traveling to a brand new place that you know nothing about? Today's guest will talk about his trip to the other side of the country and his experience in the television production course this semester. The Humanities Communications Arts Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now join our host, Tony Livingston, to meet the next new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you're about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they have completed, and give you the chance to get to know them and watch their progress throughout the semester. Our guest today is a person who loves adventure and seeing the world around him. Now, I would like you to meet our guest today, DeAndrea.
How's it going?
Yeah. Thanks. So, could you tell us a little about your trip to California?
Sure. Well, a couple of years ago, I went to the wonderful city of Los Angeles, and I mostly just wanted to get away. I wanted to go somewhere that I had never gone before, and so I kind of just booked the flights, and I had no real plan. I had no real mindset of where I was going to go. Just I was going to meet friends that were going to meet me there, and we ended up doing a lot of fun things. Some of the things we did was we went to concerts, and so one of the things we went to was Warped Tour, which is a nationwide festival, and music is a huge part of my life, and it was the first time I had ever gone there, and it was amazing, to see my favorite artists live in an incredible environment and setting.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the next were beaches, and the beaches in California are way nicer than they are in Stanford. The water is crystal clear, and the sand does not have razors in them, and it was just such an amazing place to relax and sit around and not worry about anything else in life and just enjoy the scenery. Then there was Disneyland, which was my favorite part. I had never gone to Disney World either in Florida, so it was a whole new experience being able to experience Disneyland. Some of the things I saw were, fireworks, parades. I went on rides, and it was just a real memorable time and something I definitely won't forget. And then finally, I just explored the city itself. I saw things like the famous Hollywood sign, the Walk of Fame, and I went to great restaurants. And it was one of the best times of my life and something that I'll probably keep with me forever.
Wow, you make me really want to go to California. I'd love to go there soon.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting clip. So could you tell us why you decided to take the television production course?
Sure. Well, I am a journalism major, but I feel like when you're in communications, it's not just about the field you're in. You have to take into account all types of communications. Mm-hmm. And I feel like video is a big part of that, because if you're a journalism major, you're not going to be in a publication where there isn't some type of video component. So I think taking this class is going to help anyone if they're going to be a communication major and be able to have stuff like film editing and audio editing and being able to put together sequences. I think it's really going to help you edge yourself over the competition when it comes to applying for jobs.
Wow, very true, Joseph. So what are some of the most useful things that you've learned in the television production course?
Well, like I said before, I think editing is probably the major part that I think is the most useful to me, because it's really going to help you, get a job once you leave school. And I think one of the things that I learned the most was kind of not forgetting things and sort of time management. I mean, you are on such strict deadlines with making sure that you get all of your shots in at a certain time, and make sure if you schedule things with actors that they're there on that day. Otherwise you're going to mess up your whole schedule. And another thing, you can't. I learned not to forget things. I mean, a couple times I forgot a tripod or an SD card, and it really throws you off track. And so, if anything, I learned to kind of have everything with you, so you don't, lose your focus while you're on your shots.
Very insightful and clever, I can attest to that. So could you tell us about some of the productions that you've completed throughout the semester, such as the learning sequence, the tea project, the seasonal project, and your orange project?
Sure. Well, the first project that we did was the student studies project. And this was my first experience with anything like this before, and I'm not particularly proud of it. There are a lot of glaring errors that I made, but I was learning, and it was my first experience with shot sheets and camera placements, and we learned things like cutting in on the action. And I think even though it was my first time doing it, it helped me in future shots when I made my additional projects after that. So that leads us to the teacup scene, where I felt like this one was way better. I thought my shots were much cleaner. I was able to cut in on action. I was able to have clean entrances and exits, and I feel like everything just kind of flowed much better than it did in the student studies. And overall, I think I'm fairly proud of the teacup sequence. Now, my favorite one was the winter project, and it was really nice to just kind of relax. And I'm not really a demanding type of person, so I don't really like the role of director. I don't really like telling people what to do and bossing people around. So this was my chance to just kind of take in the scenery and do things on my own at my own pace, and not worry about anybody else. And so I was able to get a really couple good shots of lines of grace and continuous zoom-ins. And then we had the orange project, which I felt was my best project, because it was really fun to come up with a story. And I think that's the hardest part, being able to come up with a story that kind of makes sense and involves having an orange and then losing it. And but eventually I found something that worked, and I'm really happy with the way I edited it and the way that I was just able to get it all to come together.
Wow, I can definitely see the progress that you've had throughout the courses. But could you tell us about your best project?
Sure. Well, the best project would go to the orange project, since that was my favorite thing that I did throughout the duration of this class. I was able to, at this point, I felt efficient enough in everything that I had done throughout, the semester, as far as the skill set is concerned. And I was kind of able to combine everything that I learned, and I tried my best to incorporate a lot of things into the shots, like transition, shallow depth of field, and good composition. And I think it ended up being my strongest work of the entire class. And you can see this is a really good shot, and they were all really good shots.
I definitely see the progress you're talking about. Very good shots. So could you tell us, what was the most interesting and important skill that you learned throughout the semester?
I think the whole process as, a whole, just in general, being able to create sequences. I've never really shot anything with a video camera that didn't involve me jumping off of something. So being able to kind of plan something and be able to put things together to make a cohesive sequence or a story is probably one of the things that I took away the most from the course, just the overall experience from it.
Well, today we got to meet someone who shared his passion for travel, music, and exploring new places. As a future journalism graduate, he hopes to be able to combine his interests to make for a successful career. I would like to thank our guest, DeAndrea, for joining us today. Thank you so much for coming here, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. We hope you enjoyed meeting some of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you, and good day.
This has been The New Directors with your host, Tony Livingston, directed by Peter Dillon Schneider. I'm your announcer, Atiba de Cruz. The New Directors is a Norwalk Community College student production.